Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
More than $1 billion headed to New York communities ravaged by the opioid epidemic. 3 opioid distributors settling a lawsuit and agreeing to pay up. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst breaks down the details and what it could mean for our area.
Good evening, Ann. A majority of the settlement money will be used for drug abatement programs throughout the state, which the Steuben County Health Director says will help educate and treat residents affected by the crisis. Today, New York Attorney General Letitia James announced that 3 major drug distributors will pay a settlement for their role in the opioid crisis. McKesson Corporation, Cardinal Health, and AmerisourceBergen Drug Corporation will pay a combined $1.2 billion over the next 17 years.
Reaching this settlement was hopefully will bring some feeling of justice to the families who have had to experience this.
Overdose deaths are coming more into focus in recent weeks as the CDC reports a nearly 30% increase across the U.S. over the past year. In Steuben County, the health department has seen a nearly 12% increase in overdose deaths from last year, which Darlene Smith contributes to circumstances around the pandemic.
I think that the shutdown, the lockdown, everything that went along with COVID certainly has contributed to the increase in the numbers that we've seen.
About $1 billion of the settlement will go towards opioid abatement programs throughout New York. Smith says the money given to Steuben County will greatly help efforts to educate and treat addiction.
Any infusion of funding in that area will certainly bolster our efforts. Hopefully we should be able to increase the volume and the way in which we are currently providing education and treatment at this time.
The first round of settlement payments begin in September. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The U.S. is still in a public health emergency because of COVID-19. The Department of Health and Human Services renewed the declaration for another 90 days. The determination allows for several factors, including the emergency use authorization of vaccines, the access of funds to address the emergency, and the deployment of military trauma care providers. The U.S. has been in a public health emergency since late January of 2020. The Biden administration is taking its fight against Facebook to the next level. The administration is looking into how social media platforms could be held legally accountable for publishing misinformation. As of now, the companies are protected under Section 230. That's a law that provides legal immunity to websites that moderate user-generated content. The White House is calling on social media companies to take a more aggressive stance on combating misinformation. Last week, the president alleged Facebook was responsible for, quote, killing people by not stopping the spread of misinformation. Monday, he backed off that accusation, but says he is not satisfied with what the platform is doing. Hospitals in the U.S. could face major fines unless they come clean about the cost of medical services. The Biden White House is pushing a Trump administration rule that demands hospitals show the rates they negotiate privately with insurance companies. Thousands of hospitals have yet to comply with that rule, which started this year. The current fine for non-compliance is up to $300 per day, but the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services want to increase that fine. If that happens, large hospitals could end up paying $2 million a year for not complying. Canada will reopen its border with the United States in just a few weeks. Starting August 9th, fully vaccinated Americans will be allowed entry once again to our neighbors up north. As reporter Jennifer Lee explains, it is welcome news for families and couples who have been separated during the pandemic.
It's been quiet.
Blaine has felt like a sleepy town, but in a few weeks, fully vaccinated Americans can finally start crossing into Canada.
This is like beyond phenomenal news. I'm so excited. Now we just need the American side to allow all the Canadians down, and yeah, it'll be happy days.
Rosa Rozansoff works at Living Pantry and says opening the border will be great for business. But more importantly, it'll open the door for family and friends to reunite, including hers.
I'm so excited. You have no idea. It's going to be so exciting to go up and see them and hug them.
Walk past that sign and you are in Canada. But if you swing over back this way, this is Peace Arch State Park. So loved ones who have been separated by the border, this is the only place that they can drive to spend quality time with one another.
There's no way that we would have survived, just started dating
and then this happening if we didn't have this.
Joseph is from Canada and Joanne lives in Birch Bay.
He has to fly to Seattle to come to Bellingham.
Yeah, even though you live, what, 50 minutes from here?
Maybe.
And I worked 50 minutes from here.
The couple says this first step from Canada will make it that much easier to be together, even with some of the rules. Canadian officials say all travelers must submit proof of vaccination and travel information. They must also get a negative COVID test before arriving in Canada, regardless of vaccination status.
Oh my gosh, we talk about it all the time. It's like when we're old and gray sitting on our front porch, we're going to be laughing about, remember when we used to sit in the hut?
The couple is now engaged to be married and says this park will always have a special place in their hearts.
It'll be something that we're grateful for, but I think that we'll be super glad it's over and we'll probably laugh about when we're old.
New York police are looking for a woman who destroyed 2 beloved statues at a local church Saturday. Emily Druby spoke to church leaders about what these statues mean to them.
That's First Communion.
From childhood to the 13 years he spent as pastor, this statue outside Our Lady of Mercy Church has been a mainstay in Monsignor John McGurl's life. Now it lays in pieces on the grass, destroyed, an act of vandalism, along with another.
They're part of the fabric of this parish.
It started last Wednesday when both statues were knocked over for the first time, explains current pastor Father Frank Schwartz.
But she only toppled the statues. She didn't destroy them.
They were put back up and secured to their bases. Then on Saturday morning, the pastor emeritus woke up to a loud crash.
I could see the shadow of the statue out in the street already. I yelled out at her, hey, you get out of there, the police will be coming. And she told me inelegantly to keep quiet.
The attack caught on camera. The suspect hops the fence and struggles to detach the statue. Once getting it free, she starts to violently throw it, eventually dragging the pieces out into the street.
I was speechless. I was devastated. I could not believe it.
Mary Jan O'Brien, a parishioner of 70 years, describes the moment she first saw the beloved statue in pieces.
It's just, there's no words. You know, it was a wonderful solace during the pandemic.
One was of the Blessed Mother and the other St. Therese, the Little Flower, the church's first patroness.
They're very much part of our history here, and we're hoping to, I'm sure Father Frank is hoping to replace them and as close as we can.
Police hunting for this suspect, a woman in her mid-20s. Father Frank asking his parishioners to respond not with anger, but with prayer.
She seemed to have a real rage within her, like a real anger. Hopefully they'll pray for her that, you know, she'll try to get help.
We've been seeing a spike in reports of unruly passengers aboard planes this year. In the past week alone, federal authorities received reports of 89 new incidents, and 7 more incident filings are on the way. According to the FAA, as of today, there have been more than 3,500 unruly passenger reports this year. Most of those incidents, about 2,600, involve the federal transportation mask mandate. The FAA has opened 581 investigations this year. By comparison, the average number of cases per year over the past 15 years is about 180 cases. News of PG&E's possible role in starting the Dixie Fire is rekindling emotions from those who survived the deadliest fire in California's history. That fire was ultimately blamed on faulty PG&E equipment. Eric Rucker has more.
This is what the plume of smoke from the Dixie Fire looks like near Oroville. A 45-minute drive into the heart of the fire provides another story. Fire burning on either side of Highway 70 just southwest of Belden. The wind in this canyon acts as the conductor, the flames rising on Mother Nature's command. And to give you an idea of how fast these flames can pick up and spread, take a look over my shoulder here. You see those in the background? We could not see those on the other side of the brush and all the trees here only about 20 seconds ago, and now they are roaring right above them. Further southwest in Paradise, a town still recovering from the campfire nearly 3 years ago. News of PG&E's possible role in starting the Dixie Fire.
It's sending a lot of people into a frenzy because, of course, it brings up bad memories.
Is rekindling emotions from those who survived the deadliest fire in our state's history, one blamed on faulty PG&E equipment.
You know, thinking about all their items they could lose all over again, and it's just like, it's like a fluke. You know, happening all over again.
These 2 women are from nearby Magalia, a community also ravaged by the campfire in November of 2018.
It started in that same area, and you would have thought they would have been on that, you know, like made sure that everything was
fixed it by now.
Well, yeah, or whatever. Checked it, done whatever they had to do to make it safe, especially in that area.
The Hornell Industrial Development Agency has won a $3.4 million federal grant. The money will be used to help local train manufacturer Alstom expand its operations in the city. The company recently secured a contract with the Chicago Metro commuter rail system to make passenger rail cars. Senator Chuck Schumer says the grant will help Alstom with its project and create new jobs.
This will allow Hornell to get even more jobs and Alstom more contracts. It's all aboard, full steam ahead.
The senator expects about 250 new jobs will be created in the Hornell area. Still ahead tonight, a New Jersey university says they're not welcoming back students unless they're vaccinated.
We are paying to come here, and everything on campus thus far has been isolated, so I don't see the need to really implement that.
Hear reaction from students and faculty about the new rule that some universities are considering throughout the country.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. We do have a few showers and thunderstorms moving through, and we're going to have more rain for tomorrow. This comes as a cold front gets ready to move through, and by tomorrow, we're going to be on the back side of it. There will still be a few showers, but by the end of the day, I'm expecting the rain to really wind down. Out ahead of this front, it has been a little bit muggy. Our dew points are still in the upper 60s and will remain so until late tomorrow. So those dew points will drop down into a more comfortable category in the 50s, so a little bit drier air moving in behind that cold front, and so it's going to feel a lot better as we head toward the end of the week. So our feature radar is showing a few showers and thunderstorms for tonight into early tomorrow, and it's going to be off and on showers through about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I think all this activity will start to move to the east. Drier conditions will start to come in. Those clouds will start to clear away overnight on Friday or on Wednesday into your Thursday, and I think we'll stay dry through most of the day on Thursday, but we do have another disturbance that will try to move through, bringing the possibility of more rain Thursday night into Friday. But during the day on Friday, I'm expecting it to be very sunny, and it's going to be very pleasant outside, just beautiful weather as we end the week. So here's a look at your forecast. Tonight, we drop down to around 63 degrees in Elmira, 64 degrees in Corning, and 62 degrees in Perkinsville. Highs tomorrow will be in the mid-70s for both Corning and in Elmira, a little bit cooler in Perkinsville at 71 degrees and 72 in Bath, 75 degrees in Watkins Glen. So it's not going to be quite as warm as it was today, definitely not quite as humid, but there is that possibility of rain, especially for the first half of the day. With a little bit more sunshine on a Thursday and Friday, that will help to push those temperatures up a little bit, but you can't really complain with highs in the upper 70s. And overnight lows will drop down into the 50s, an indication of that drier air that's moving through. But then over the weekend, the humidity level will start to increase, our overnight lows will start to increase, and our highs will be back into the 80s. So 80 degrees on Sunday, 84 close to normal on Monday with a little bit of sunshine, and we're going to stay in the 80s through the middle of the week with partly sunny skies. So beautiful weather on tap, and once this cold front moves through the area. That's a look at your weather. Stay tuned. We have more coming up after this.
Police officers in Oshkosh, Wisconsin saved a family from a house on fire over the weekend. And on Monday, the family got to thank those officers for saving their lives. Gabriela Primus was there for the emotional reunion.
The Stodmiller family is all smiles meeting the Oshkosh police officers who saved them from a life-threatening fire situation.
Come over here.
It was all caught on police body camera video. Melissa Stodmiller, her 12-year-old daughter Chloe, 5-year-old son Oliver, and pets were all inside their home when it caught fire. Melissa's husband Doug was at the store.
So I told Chloe, you need to go through this window. So she jumped through the window, and then she got out. Then I handed her my son. and then the cat.
Melissa said she stood on her son's bed and peeked her head out the window to breathe, but she was worried about her 2 dogs still in the house.
My dog would not go out for me. She was too afraid. Meanwhile, I heard my Lily, and I opened up the door and I yelled my girl's name. She didn't come, and I had to keep shutting the door because the smoke was coming in.
The Oshkosh Police Department was the first to respond. Officers took action. They grabbed a ladder from the open garage and brought the family to safety from the second-story window. Oshkosh Police Lieutenant Brian Scholdes was a supervisor on scene.
First thing I saw as I'm running up the driveway was one of my officers carrying the youngest son out to an ambulance.
Scholdes says an officer was able to get 1 dog to jump out the window. Then firefighters rescued the second dog. Scholdes says this is something he will never forget.
We do not fight fires, and our guys know that, but at that point we knew we just needed to make sure everyone was out, and he didn't hesitate.
Officers Nick Koleski and Ben Fenhouse were treated for smoke inhalation but later released. For the family,
the type of fire we had, if she hadn't reacted as fast, could have been a lot worse.
Doug says the house looks fine on the outside, but the damage is bad on the inside. He says it means everything to him to be able to thank the officers who saved his family's life.
Good to see you guys. Yeah. Go save some more lives.
A university in New Jersey told its students back in April that vaccines will play a vital role in campus safety this fall. Now, Kean University says students who do not show proof of vaccination by August 1st will be unregistered from their classes. As Christy Kalishian reports, students have mixed reactions to the order.
Thank God I just made the cutoff for my last summer class and I'm out of here.
Chelsea, who just has 1 summer class left, is not getting vaccinated against COVID anytime soon because she's concerned over its potential symptoms. Kean University students this fall will have to show proof of vaccination by August 1st, something she disagrees with.
We are paying to come here, and everything on campus thus far has been isolated, so I don't see the need to really implement that.
Students received a reminder by the university to submit their proof of vaccination by August 1st or be deregistered from any registered fall classes. Freshman Sarah agrees but wants to see requirements go even further.
I do think that it's good that everyone is vaccinated, but I do think they should still take precautions of wearing their masks.
There are exceptions to the vaccine requirement, but not the form deadline. Students who have a medical or religious exemption still have to fill out this form by August 1st. Same with students who plan to go fully remote. They aren't required to get vaccinated, but will still have to fill out the form explaining this by the deadline.
There may be students who still choose to make the decision that they don't wish to be vaccinated, and we respect that decision. But again, in our minds, the health and safety are the biggest issues.
With cases of the Delta variant rising even among the vaccinated, some students aren't even sure what's best.
Can't you still get COVID even though you have the vaccination? So it's just like, it's like 50-50. I don't even know.
Many would-be buyers are abandoning their search for a dream home, citing low inventory, high prices, and lots of competition. Mary Maloney heard from one real estate expert who says putting the idea on the back burner might be the right thing to do, at least for a little while.
It's so hard to get a home right now that some buyers have simply given up.
They all just said, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. I'm going to check out.
Northern California real estate agent and investor David Green blames burnout. This spring, the housing market was on fire. Soaring demand increased competition, and prospective home buyers confronted all-cash offers they couldn't match.
The past 3 months, the market's been so hot you couldn't touch it. If you try to buy a house at all, you got outbid by 20 people. They've been chasing homes, trying to buy one, going through the emotional gauntlet of trying to buy a house, and they've decided that they've had enough.
There's also been record low inventory of available properties, which raised home prices to unprecedented highs. Adding to that, low mortgage rates motivating more buyers to bid on those few homes on the market. Green says he's telling some clients to put their search on ice, but not for long.
I'm telling them to slow down and wait until wintertime when there's less competition, and at least we can get an idea of what they have to pay for that house so they can make an educated decision.
In May, home sales fell for the 4th month in a row, according to a recent report from the National Association of Realtors. Part of the reason is there aren't enough homes to buy, but competition and higher prices are also turning off buyers who can't afford to compete.
There's not a lot of houses out there. Even though the market's hot, it's probably going to get hotter.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
If you take Chantix to quit smoking, listen up. Pfizer is recalling some Chantix batches after high levels of possible cancer-causing chemicals were found in them. The company says there is no immediate danger to anyone taking it now. It's only a problem if someone is exposed to it over an extended period of time, and that the health benefits of stopping smoking still outweigh the theoretical potential cancer risk here. In fact, the FDA recommends the patients keep taking Chantix until their pharmacist offers a replacement or their doctor prescribes something else. It was up, and away for the world's richest man today.
5, 4, command engine start. 2, 1. Ignition.
Jeff Bezos took his first trip to space on his company's rocket ship. Blue Origin launched its New Shepard spacecraft from a site in Van Horn, Texas. The 11-minute flight took the Amazon founder and 3 passengers more than 60 miles above Earth. According to Blue Origin, the 4 floated around weightless for 3 minutes as they saw panoramic views of the planet and outer space. A Kansas woman found an urn with ashes on her property and was able to track down the family it belongs to. Isaac French was there for the reunion.
It's been almost 2 weeks since Sandra Lloyd first found Shirley Warren's urn in her backyard. After some research, phone calls, and an interview with 13 News, Lloyd's mission is complete, and Shirley Warren has found her way home.
I actually walked in and was looking at my phone and seen a post from WIBW and started playing it, and I just was in shock. I mean, because I'm going, Shirley Warren, that's my sister.
I didn't think it was going to happen last night that Catherine called me. I just figured it'd probably be a couple days. I was just hoping somebody would call me. And then when I saw her name show up, I was like, oh wow, maybe this is it.
Southern had no idea that her sister's urn was even missing. She believed it was in possession of her nephew.
He had put her in storage because he needed a place for his things. Well, he came on some hard times and lost the storage unit, and she evidently, somebody decided that they didn't want her with them, and they didn't go to the trouble that Sandra did.
Luckily, it was Sandra Lloyd who found Warren's urn, and she refused to give up until it was returned to where it belongs.
I am relieved. I am really relieved. I'm actually a little bit tired today. I think just because of the relief of her getting somewhere where she needs to be with her family. It's just a wonderful feeling.
If it wasn't for you, we'd have never had her.
I'm so glad I could help you.
Yeah.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. An Ohio father whose special needs kids couldn't get work decided to create some employment opportunities for them. Joel Wegner, a father of 10, bought an ice cream truck for his 2 adult children with Down syndrome. The family opened the business, aptly called Special Neat Treats, in April. And business is booming. Wegner said sales have exceeded expectations. He says he started the business to teach his kids financial, communication, and social skills. Wegner says he also wants to start engaging conversations around hiring people with special needs. And the family even plans to expand the business someday. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.